from Uganda to Italy, branches of the same tree, dancing leaves floating downstream. This is how creation sings, here to be what we're meant to be. If one can see, we all can see, forming our reality. This is how creation sings. This is how creation sings.
Welcome to Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center. We are a part of Unity Worldwide Ministries, and we're located here in Vacaville at 350 North Orchard Avenue. We're going to begin our service today with a prayer from Reverend Dalia Adams.
Let us pray. Let us open our minds and hearts to the truth of our oneness with God, to the truth of our oneness with each other. Let us open our minds and hearts to the truth that God is love, and that love fills our hearts whenever we are open and receptive to that presence that is God. This morning, the love that is God invites us to release all that is unlike itself, to release all that is unlike the love that is the truth of our being. Let us join together in releasing all fear, all anger, all worry, all resentment, all of those things, all of those feelings and reactions that block our awareness of love. For God is love and God fills our being. We are love and we release all that is unlike the love that is our truth. And so for this we are deeply grateful and we say thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
My name is Carolyn Ranch, and it is really a pleasure and a joy and an honor to be the service assistant today. This morning, I invite you to look at the person sitting next to you, or if you're alone, think of someone whom you would like to affirm, or if you're feeling really loving, you can bring into your mind someone that you have some trouble with. Because when we make this affirmation, knowing that we are seeing and affirming the best for that person, the energy between us changes. And so let's make this affirmation together now. You are a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. You are loved unconditionally, just the way you are. Sometimes it's more difficult to make that affirmation for ourselves, but it's really important. We're changing our consciousness of ourselves from just this mere human self to the broader, expansive spiritual self, the part of us that is connected to the Christ. And so our energy shifts as we say this together now. I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. I am loved unconditionally, just the way I am. Now I'd like to remind you that our prayer chaplains are always available to pray with you. And I hope that many of you will take advantage of this opportunity. I know that many people are reluctant to reach out, to admit any kind of vulnerability, but I remind you too that in unity, prayer is a celebration of God's good. And our chaplains are especially trained in affirmative prayer to see the highest and the best for you and your situation or for a loved one, or to celebrate with you for some good that has come into your life. Each one of them has a special light to share and to shine. And so I hope that you will contact them by emailing unityvv@pacbell.net, and you will make a very loving and warm connection. You'll be glad that you did. Our first announcement today is that we're going to enjoy another Unity virtual cafe after the service. That'll be from 11:45 to 1 o'clock. And it's a very informal gathering. Even if you've never been before, you'll feel right at home. It's a chance to see the faces of people with whom you usually come to church, to meet new people, just to celebrate being together virtually. And you know, even though you're not here physically in the sanctuary this morning, your presence is felt, your energy remains. And so when we see you in the virtual cafe, it lasts. That love, that friendship, that sense of community goes way beyond these walls, and we just keep it here. So come join us for a warm and loving time together. You have to sign up ahead of time, so you can log in to our Zoom cafe at unityvv@pacbell.net. Our next announcement is about the craft fair, which we have every year, and it'll be right here at this address, 350 North Orchard Avenue, in the parking lot. And it'll be held Saturday, November 14th, from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. And as always, there will be a wide variety of items for you to peruse and purchase. It's a great place to do your Christmas shopping. And you have permission to shop for yourself as well. Please call Teresa Meadows at 707-447-0521 to reserve your spot if you'd like to reserve a table. And all forms and payment need to be received by Friday, October 30th. So that's coming right up. And you'll be happy that you participated. The people who come to the craft fair are wonderful people. We have a good time, and it's always been very successful. Hope to see you there. Our next announcement is about our fall reflection celebration. As many of you know, we have been reading Tara Brach's book, True Refuge, for the last 7 weeks. Now this will be a time to reflect on what we've learned and to share our takeaways from that fall program. And that will be on Zoom as well. unityvv@pacbell.net for log-on information. And then I'd like to remind you that we are continuing to give donations to people from our community who were seriously affected by the lightning complex fires. You can go to unityvacaville.org and click on the blue tile, which takes you to the GoFundMe pages. Or you can simply send a check to Unity and designate on the memo line where you wish this donation to go. And these friends have already expressed appreciation for the love they are feeling from this community, and we do love them and want to help in whatever way we can. So thank you ahead of time for your generosity. And our last announcement is a reminder that the pledge cards for 2021 need to be sent in or filled out online. And all this does is helps our board budget for the upcoming year. It's really important to know what we have to work with. And so please get those in as soon as you can and know that you are part of the abundance, of the prosperity, of the sense of joy that we have here at Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center. So the pledge cards are part of that joy of giving and receiving. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for giving of your time and your talent, your energy, your love. Know that we truly love and appreciate you. And we thank you for supporting our broadcast today and our center. Thank you for your generosity. Now, as we prepare to make our statement of faith, just remember, it is so important to say this with true intention. These are not just words. This is an energy that goes out way beyond us into consciousness. And many of us are affirming this same statement, and that gives it added power. So no matter what is happening, no matter what's been going on, this statement can help us align ourselves with the deepest, truest part of us, the part that is innately connected with God. So together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good.
E kalamai au, e kalamai iau, mahalo, aloha wa ia oi. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me,
Please forgive me.
thank you, I love you, I'm sorry,
I'm so sorry.
forgive me,
Please forgive me.
thank you,
I just want to thank you.
I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you.
I just wanna thank you.
I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Kalamai ia. Kalamai ia. Mahalo. Mahalo. Aloha wo ia koi.
My name is Reverend Dalia Adams, and I am so honored to be here with you today. Here at Unity of the Valley in the year of 2020, we have been immersing in the way of peace. We've made many attempts to understand peace a little more deeply, to express peace, to welcome peace, to live the peace that comes from within our hearts, from within our being. For the last few weeks, for a total of 7 weeks, we have been focused on a book by Tara Brach called True Refuge, Finding Peace and Freedom in Our Own Awakened Hearts. It's part of our Fall Reflections program. And today we are going to be focused on forgiveness and compassion. Last week we talked about taking refuge in love. Tara Brach describes 3 gateways to that true refuge, 3 gateways to an awakened heart. And one of the gateways is the Sangha or love. And last week we talked about how she points out that taking refuge in love is sometimes the only gateway that's available to us when we have been traumatized, when we have been frightened, when we have been hurt or betrayed, or we are facing challenges that feel overwhelming. It is love that offers us refuge. It is the love that is God. It is the love in our hearts. It is the love that we express and the love that we receive that allows us a gateway into that peace and freedom of our awakened hearts. But the thing is, even though love is such a profound truth of who we are and what God is and what we're all about, we can disconnect from our awareness of love. We can be surrounded by love and feel completely alone, completely unloved, or completely devoid of any love to give. And forgiveness is the process or the activity, or one very powerful process and activity that removes the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So if there was no other reason to forgive, this would be enough. Just take a moment to imagine a time when you were living, and in that moment you were living, you were fully aware of love's presence. You were aware of the love that was within you wanting to be expressed. You were aware of the love that was enfolding you. You were aware of the presence of God, and God is love. And remember how that felt, what that experience is like, to live in that profound awareness of the truth of love. Take a nice deep breath, claim that as the truth of your being. And then take a moment and imagine a time, you may not have ever experienced this, but some of us have, where you felt completely cut off from love. Maybe you were hurt or afraid. Maybe you were far from the people that you love. Maybe you were angry because someone had hurt you so badly. Or maybe you were lonely because someone that you hoped would be there wasn't. Or maybe you were lonely because you were hoping to experience the presence of God. Maybe even sat down to pray or meditate. Nothing much happened except the itch on your nose. Think of those moments when you felt so cut off from love, if that's ever happened to you, and how devastating that can feel. The difference is so profound, and the only experience that is true is that experience of love. So when we are caught up in the illusion that love has gone away, that it is no longer available to us, forgiveness is a powerful pathway to becoming aware of love's presence again. Forgiveness is huge. To try to talk about it in one day is a drop in the bucket. We could spend all year talking about forgiveness, what it is and how to do it, and how to stay in that consciousness of forgiveness. But we'll look at some highlights today. Some words that I pulled from Google that are synonymous to forgiveness are pardon, understanding, clearing, release. If they're helpful to you, that's fine. But again, this is a very superficial glance at logical meanings for forgiveness. One of my favorite definitions of forgiveness came from Tara Brach's book. She said, forgiveness means not pushing anyone or any part of our own being out of our hearts. I think everyone's probably finding it easy to imagine what it's like to push someone out of our hearts. I mean, people do things that horrify. People do things sometimes that hurt us. People do things sometimes that allow us to feel betrayed. And it's almost a knee-jerk to push them out of our hearts, push them away. But the other piece in there, that sometimes we take a part of our own being and we push ourselves out of our hearts. And forgiveness means allowing our hearts to open to ourselves again. There's many, many different traditions that teach forgiveness because it is so central to who we are and how we are to live. Science teaches the power and the necessity of forgiveness for our psychological well-being and for our physical health. Jesus taught many things, but the key teachings, if you had to pull the most important teachings that Jesus gave us, there'd be the kingdom of heaven and the truth that we are one. And the other teachings were about love and forgiveness. The Course in Miracles, most of the Course is about forgiveness and removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And then in the indigenous cultures, there's teachings about forgiveness. And in Buddhist teachings. And there are many, many more, but again, we only have one day. I don't know if you can see the graph. It's very light, but it shows a curve with the line rising and then falling. Not quite a bell curve, but pretty close. And what science has found is that that is a very healthy way for us to move through life. We meet a challenge and our physiology, our biochemistry gets riled up a little bit and our muscles tense and hormones flow and we meet the challenge and we release it and we're in a nice, steady, calm state until the next challenge comes up. That's very healthy for our bodies, for our minds. It's very healthy for our hearts and for our blood pressure. In the book, Tara Brach describes her dog, Hakuna, I think the dog's name is. The dog is about 80, 85 pounds, and the dog really had an issue with two Akitas that lived in the neighborhood. And every time her dog, Hakuna, saw the Akitas, they would get all riled up and bark and carry on and be vicious. She had to do some extra maneuvers to keep Hakuna tied up. I think she wrapped the leash around a tree or something. But the moment the Akitas were out of sight, Hakuna was back to normal, happy, trotting along, taking a walk. Hakuna was not tensed up thinking, those nasty dogs, they don't belong here. They need to move to a different neighborhood. Who do they think they are? The moment the episode ended, Hakuna had released it. The thing with us as human beings, we meet a challenge or a conflict or something that angers us or makes us afraid, and the situation dissipates, but there we are, 10 o'clock at night, we're still thinking about it, we're driving up our blood pressure, and that graph doesn't come down smoothly and stay down. We end up fluctuating at an elevated state of arousal, sometimes for days, sometimes for years. And that's not good for our well-being, for our psychological well-being. That is not good for our health. There's research that shows that it impacts the heart, it impacts blood pressure, it impacts our blood vessels, it impacts our immune system. So science teaches us or preaches to us to find ways of releasing the anger, the fear, the resentment, the irritation, to not carry it within us. Simply on a physical, scientifically demonstrated level. Spiritual traditions have been teaching this long before science came up with its findings. One of my favorite passages in the Gospels was when Peter came up to Jesus and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? In other words, how many chances do I have to forgive this guy? I mean, he keeps doing the same thing. How many times do I have to forgive him? Where's the cutoff? Where's the cutoff where I can keep my anger? And Peter continued to ask up to 7 times. And in biblical terms, 7 times means until completion. Do I have to keep forgiving my neighbor, my brother, until the forgiveness is complete? And Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. So 70 times completion. The wisdom of Jesus here is profound because if you reflect, there may have been a time in your life where you forgave someone, maybe forgave yourself, but forgave someone, and it felt complete, and you felt the release, and you were opening to the awareness of love's presence. And there it is, it's after dinner, you're relaxing, and it all comes up again, and you thought you were finished with it. You thought that the forgiveness was complete, but there it is. And in your mind, you're there, well, I don't understand why he or she did that. They had no right to do that. That wasn't right. I can't believe I trusted him or her. I can't believe how stupid it was that he or she did that. I'm going to, and we go round and round and round and we recreate it. And Jesus taught us that we need to keep forgiving until completion and keep forgiving and keep forgiving and keep forgiving. Course in Miracles, like I said before, much of it, very, very much of the content is about forgiveness. It teaches how to release the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That's the entire purpose of the book. And so forgiveness comes up over and over again. But personally, for me, one of my favorite passages in the Course is the passage that says, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. When we're threatened or we're angry or we feel hurt, the automatic response is to defend ourselves in some sort of way. So we would be safe. I mean, that's such a well-intended reaction. The purpose of defending ourselves is a wonderful purpose. Being protected and safe is a good thing. Tara Brach writes an entire book about finding true refuge, finding that safety. And in the Course it says, my safety lies not when I'm well defended, but when I am completely defenseless. In other words, when all of those blocks to love fade away and I'm left with only the truth that God is love and I am one with God, so I am love. The truth of my being is love. The purpose of my open heart is to extend and to receive love. When I am defenseless, I am open to the awareness of love's presence. And when I am immersed in this consciousness of love, I am safe. When I am immersed in the truth of what God is and who I am safe. For the love that God is greater than any challenge that might be before me. Such a short sentence, but I have found myself relying on it to remind me to forgive and to release, because all of that stuff I might be doing, trying to keep myself safe, ultimately is never enough. But the presence of God, the presence of the love that is God is always enough. I had heard this legend over and over from many different people, but I never knew the source. And in Tara Brock's book, she said that it was after the attack on September 11th that this particular story went viral on the internet, and that it's originally a Cherokee legend. And in the legend, a grandfather is talking to his young grandson, and he explained to the grandson that each of us, each person has two wolves within us. One very angry and vicious, and the other one compassionate, kind, understanding, and that these wolves within us battle with each other. And the little boy looked at his grandfather and said, "Grandfather, which wolf will win?" And the grandfather says, "It depends on which wolf you feed." So just like the teaching of Jesus that tells us that we need to forgive over and over and over again, with the wolf, if we want the wolf that represents kindness and compassion and understanding to win within us, then we need to feed that wolf. We need to practice that kindness, that compassion, that understanding over and over and over again, and release the anger that the other wolf might bring. And the Buddha taught, Buddhist teachings also teach that forgiveness is a central part to our awakening. The Buddha taught those who are free of resentful thoughts will find peace, will find that awakened heart, the peace and freedom of an awakened heart. And if we explored other traditions, other spiritual paths, we would find many, many more examples and stories of great teachers, great masters, telling us that forgiveness is at the very heart of what is ours to do in this life. And then there's compassion. The thing is, everything I said about forgiveness is true and good. And it seems like it would be so easy to do because of the power that it carries. It would seem like it would be so easy to do because ultimately the truth is that God is love and God is greater than whatever it is that's upsetting us so much. It would seem like it would just be easy to do and we would do it. Sometimes, again, it may be that it's never happened to you, but for some people, they set out to forgive, and instead of the heart opening, the heart hardens. And there's this inner monologue that says, no way, I'm not going to forgive him after what he did or after what she did. After she said that and did that, no way am I letting him or her in my heart. I am not going to let him, her, them hurt me again. Whether it's someone we know or someone who's a political leader. I mean, we can get into a really tight and hardened place very quickly. And then all these teachings about forgiveness, they make sense in the abstract, but I ain't going to do that. Not in this situation. How could anyone forgive in this situation? And this is where compassion steps in. Because without compassion, what would happen is the part, let's say if I were in that situation, the part of me that wants to forgive would start warring with the part of me that's stamping her foot and saying, no way, not in this situation. I'm never going to allow that to happen again. And so compassion comes into the picture because we are called upon in that moment to be compassionate with ourselves, to acknowledge that part of us that's saying, no way am I going to do this, to acknowledge that part of us and say, I honor you. I honor you for wanting to protect me so much. I honor the caring, maybe even the love that is motivating a part of me to say, no way. I honor that. And then to extend compassion to that part of us, because that part of us is scared. I mean, underneath the anger and the fighting back, there is a fear. And when someone we care about is afraid, we extend compassion. We support them. So we enfold that part of us that is resisting forgiveness with the most amazing compassion and appreciation, and maybe even a promise that, if you allow me to forgive this, I make a commitment to make sure that you're safe. In other words, if there's a part of me that's afraid to be with a particular person because of past fairly serious hurts, that compassion toward myself would say, I get it, and thank you, that part of me that's trying to protect me from more hurt. And I extend my love to that part of me. I'm not going to fight that part of me. But I will assure that part of me, if I can open my heart to this person, I will also be committed to keeping myself safe. So it doesn't mean that I need to get in the car and go for a ride with that person. It doesn't mean that I have to spend time with that person. It means I need to do whatever it would take to protect myself from future hurts. But I can do that with an open heart. I can do that as I send that person a prayer. I can do that without that defensiveness that keeps me blocked from the awareness of love. So forgiveness over and over and over calls upon us to be compassionate. And usually we need to be compassionate with ourselves, with the part of us that is resisting the forgiving process. And sometimes that takes a while. Sometimes we need to linger in the compassion and just hold the intention to forgive when we are ready to forgive. And that's good. It opens our hearts just enough to be good. Sometimes we need to extend compassion to another person that we're forgiving. Or maybe we need to extend compassion to a person to whom we're saying, would you please forgive me? As we extend compassion, what we are doing is extending that ability to know what it is like for that other person. We're extending that ability to wish for that other person that same peace and freedom of an awakened heart that we want for ourselves. It does not mean I am going to lay down and be a doormat and let this person walk over me. If it's a political figure, it doesn't mean I'm going to turn around and vote for them. I might actively work to have that person replaced. But my heart can be open toward that person, and there can be compassion as I continue to be compassionate with myself and true to my own ideals and beliefs. I remember when I was working in a drug and alcohol rehab center, as counselors, we were taught to work with families and the recovering addicts with this idea of forgiveness, but forgiveness does not mean being foolish. If a mother is angry with a husband or ex-husband because he endangered the children by driving while drunk with the children in the car, forgiveness would mean letting go of the resentment and the fury, but it does not mean she puts her children in the car when he is drunk for them to go for a ride. So the behavior can be protective, it can be wise, it can be reasonable, it can be aligned with that self-compassion. But the difference is that we are releasing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So compassion is the partner of forgiveness. I just need to remember that this part of me needs love. This part of me that might be in the beginning saying no. And that was Tara Brach. So when we get really good at this forgiveness process, when compassion is our automatic response, we might be able to go to this field that Rumi talks about. In one of his poems, he says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. And so it is.
As we enter this time of meditation, I invite you to become still. I invite you to take your favorite meditation posture and let the music of Narayan and Janet enter your heart. Fill your heart as we now center within.
I wish I could show you the astonishing light of your own being. I accept myself just as I am. Forgiven. 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 All that is unnecessary melts away. is forgiven. And I pause for presence. I breathe in compassion so deeply, so deeply. I pause for presence.
So, as we move deeper into our time of meditation, I invite you to sit comfortably, to allow your breath to come easily and effortlessly, letting your breath find its own natural and easy rhythm. For a little while, simply notice the movement of your breath. Notice how your breath feels as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Allow your breath to take you deeper within, deep into your heart space, deep into that sacred space within you where you know the presence of God, that sacred space within you where you feel love's presence. And from that sacred space of love, you choose to forgive. And you hold in mind one person who at some time had hurt you or disappointed you, betrayed you, frightened you. You hold the image of that person in your mind. You extend compassion to yourself for the hurt or the fear or the disappointment you may have felt. You unfold yourself in compassion. Then you hold that person in mind once again. And to the extent that you are able, and only to the extent that you are able, you say gently, I forgive. And you forgive that person to the extent that you are able. And if forgiveness is not possible in this moment, simply hold the intention that you will forgive when you are able. Then quietly say, thank you, God. Thank you, the love that is God. And you release that image, that person, and that experience. Knowing that in this moment you are resting in that sacred space within you where you know the presence of love. And so once again, you choose to forgive. And I invite you to hold in mind an image of yourself, an image of a time when you frightened yourself or disappointed yourself or put yourself in harm's way, a time when you were very angry with yourself, frightened by yourself, disappointed in yourself. And as you hold that image, I invite you to extend to yourself compassion, extending compassion to the part of you that is frightened or hurt, and extending compassion to the part of you that made that mistake. Allow yourself to feel the power of that compassion, the warmth of that compassion. And then, to the extent that you are able, hold that image of the part of you that disappointed you. To the extent that you are able, say, I forgive. And only to the extent that you are able. If in this moment you are not able to forgive, simply hold the intention to forgive at the time that you are able. And then for the forgiveness or the intention to forgive, and for the ways that forgiveness opens you even more deeply to the presence of love, you say, thank you. Thank you. And so you choose to continue to forgive throughout the week, but only to the extent that you are able. Now, for a little while in the silence, hold the words, I forgive. I forgive. I release all of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Holding those affirmations in your heart, allow yourself to gently and easily bring your attention back to this room, back to this time and place. Take a nice deep breath. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Become fully present in this now moment. And then join with me in saying thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
This is the time in our service when we give tangible thanks for this beautiful center and for the teachings of unity. This is the time when we take a moment to reflect on how grateful we are to know that we put love first. We don't let fear overtake us. And so for all of these teachings, for this beautiful center, for the friendship, the sense of community, the ongoing expansion of our consciousnesses, we offer our tithes and love offerings in that spirit, knowing they go out to bless so many people and ourselves as well. So let's bless the gifts with this affirmation together. God's love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive. I am grateful.
I just wanna thank you for all you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. I just wanna thank you for all you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. I just wanna thank you for all you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free.
And so we thank you very much, friends, for joining us in this very important activity of spirit, where we let go of any hesitation about affirming the highest and the best for ourselves and each other. And we move into a place of knowing the truth of God's love. And we are innately connected to God. We are so prosperous. We are so filled with gratitude. And we are so filled with love. In Tara Brach's book, there's a quotation that I have been using over and over again. Rumi asked, "Do you often visit yourself?" And here at Unity, that's what it's all about, visiting ourselves. So thank you for visiting yourself today. Please join us in singing the peace song along with Janet and Narian, who have the best rendition I've ever heard. Let's do that now.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Now peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment, live each moment, peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
This is one of our favorite prayers in Unity, and we're going to say this together with each other in mind, and every being on planet Earth in mind as well. So please join me now in saying together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. We are one holy family. We celebrate our oneness and honor our diversity.
As we bring this spiritual experience to a close, I invite you to join me in our closing affirmation. I also invite you to hold this affirmation in your heart throughout the week. So please join me. I forgive. Again, I forgive. And so it is.
Now, friends, we're going to end with a thank you to everyone who made this broadcast possible. Thank you to our Reverend Dalia Adams, who stands up here and tells the truth every Sunday. To all the people who put together the slides and the music, and Teresa in the office. This is a beautiful work of love. And thank you for sharing it with us. Now we're going to wave hello. And please stay around and join us. Hello.
In a happy mood, feeling gratitude. Thank you, thank you.
Gratitude
Hi, everybody.
is my name. Feeling grateful is my game. Thank you. Thank
Good to see everybody.
When I lift my head up, stop complaining.
I see everything through gratitude-colored glasses, and we're all in this great big sea of bliss. And thank you,
thank you,
thank you.
thank you. Hello, I love you.
Hello.
They're all connected.
Love you.
They're all
I miss everybody. Be together again soon. I just want to say.
I love the choir.
Wave.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm in a happy mood, feeling gratitude.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Say hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
How are you? I'm fine.
We miss you.
Miss
We
you.
miss you.
Miss you.
We think about you.
Think about you.
We hold you in our hearts.
Of course.
And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
When I lift my head up,
Soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Guys.
Mwah.
Well,
I feel everything through gratitude-colored glasses, and we're all in this great big sea of bliss. Thank you,
thank you.
thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you.
In a happy mood, feeling gratitude. Thank you, thank you.
Grateful is my game. Thank you. Thank you.
When I lift my head up, stop complaining.
I see everything through gratitude-colored glasses, and we're all in this great big sea of bliss.